No, you are hilarious. I like that. That's funny.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
The recursive video.
Oh my gosh, exactly. It's crazy. Oops, go back. Okay. Get this. Close this. Oh, there we go. Ooh, okay, that messed it up. Okay. All right, so we're going to get started in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and hit present on this. We're actually broadcasting it live for the folks who can't join us at ISTE.
Yes.
But we definitely want to thank you all for coming to this Birds of a Feather for Global Collaboration. So we're just going to have a conversation today. So Dr. Will and I are going to moderate it, but this is a conversation, not a presentation. So everybody's input is valuable. So just to set the tone, there's a short video that we did back earlier this year. So some of you may see yourselves in there. Let me make a screen. Hello, my name is Sarah Thomas. Yep. Met him first? Yeah. What do you look like?
If you never, if you're only teacher, something right, get connected. I mean, I know I know everything.
Yes, join us. Hello, how you doing?
Together as educators, and we can learn so much from each other. And it happens when we connect our students.
Empathy starts with this and leads to understanding.
It's important for us to connect and learn from rather than out.
Connectedness shows us how alike we are. And it also shows us how different we are, which is refreshing.
One class in particular that we tweet regularly with, we feel we know them so well that when their pet mouse went missing, the children couldn't focus on their work until we got to tweet the next day to say, it's okay, mouse is safe.
Sometimes both.
They are Twitter and Box. I have learned from done. You take ideas from other people and you create your new understandings, new ideas, new innovations.
Being an educator has changed my instruction, my enthusiasm for teaching, and given me the courage to be a teacher.
Being a connected educator and teaching, it's allowed me to learn from other educators across the globe, and in turn, I've become a better teacher.
We as educators are able to truly connect, collaborate, share best practices.
One amazing bunch of positive enthusiasts and dogs that are like their kids.
Not only to be connected, helping teaching, we're all possibilities for students.
Yeah, tech is a tool, but it's also a lifeline for those of us who are looking to connect.
7 billion people. 7 billion people in the world.
With 7 billion people in the world.
The 7 billion people in the world, you're only talking. But what a beautiful picture we made when we began to connect.
What a beautiful picture we made.
Ooh, actually. All right, so yeah, thank you. So that was just a video that 30, oh goodness, like 35 educators around the world just kind of came together and put together. So why don't we see who we have with us? So so Dr. Will, did you want to begin?
Yes, well, as we're going through here, I'm going to put the questions out on Twitter, like a Twitter chat, and let the people participate.
All right, great. So I guess we'll start over here. Corey, if you could just say your name, what you do, where you teach, or where you work, because you're out of the classroom, and just something, yeah, just that stuff would be good, or anything else you want to add?
Corey Shiflett from, I guess, Georgetown ISD in by Austin, Texas. I guess I'm gonna give her hugs and really high fives. No, I'm an educational technologist for the district.
Hi everyone, I'm Elle. My name is actually Elvira Diego, but I go by Elle. Elle Gifted on Twitter. We're out of Hattiesburg Public Schools. I teach gifted 2nd through 6th grade, and I love to connect my kids and myself. So.
Karen Gallagher, newly mental technology integration specialist on Friday.
Yay!
Before that, I was a history teacher for a long time. And I talked to Sarah a lot. We just moved for the first time face to face.
Yeah. It was Sunday. I know. The days are just kind of blending together, so it's crazy. All right.
Hi, I'm Deb Kirby. I'm a business ed teacher in Northeast PA. And it's funny, I was just up on the 3rd floor having something to eat yesterday, I think, and this gal told me about this group. So I found you on Twitter, and I'm hardly ever on Twitter, but I just happened to look 5 minutes ago and see that you were meeting here, and I was like, well, it must be my spirit. Here, I don't believe in coincidences.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see you.
Hi, I'm Layla Bean. I'm a 1st grade teacher, and I really want to do more global connection in New Jersey. I've done Skype with a class in Texas last year, and I just want to do more reaching out for.
Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Scott Moss. I teach middle school in San Diego, mostly technology courses. I've done some connecting with other classrooms, but I want to do it on a deeper level, do something socially relevant.
Fantastic. Where should we go here in the front? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I'm Sean Farnham. I teach 3rd grade in St. Augustine, Florida. I'm still in camp. In St. Augustine, Florida. On Twitter, I'm Magic Pants Jones, and I like making connections with people and getting my kids connected and using those connections to make their work more relevant.
Charles, North Texas, DFW. I'm an educational consultant now. Was in the classroom for 10 years teaching government, and technology allowed me to make connections with my high school seniors, and that's where the magic started.
Sure.
And my name is Christian Paget. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I taught 4th grade this past year, as well as a couple other grade levels this past year, and now I am the instructional technology coach at my school. So looking forward to this year. And I'm also sending EDD on Twitter.
Fantastic. And I'm sorry, could you just say like your name, where you're located, and what you do?
Sure. I'm Joe Troyan. I'm based in Austin, Texas, and I'm the founder of an organization called Penpal Schools that connects students from all over the world to learn together in online technology.
That's fantastic. So we have quite a group of people from all over the country, and just a great group of ideas and things like that. So if you wanted to scan that QR code, that just has the questions. The format for today, we're just going to do kind of like a live Twitter chat. So Dr. Will, I know you say you're putting the questions on Twitter. So yes. Fantastic. So if any of you are on Twitter, then that might be a good way to get each other's handles just by using that. So put that up on the screen for a couple seconds. And we didn't introduce ourselves. So go ahead. Go ahead.
Dr. Will, I'm a district instructional technologist with Hattiesburg Public Schools, do some consulting, try to be a podcaster, and I will be leading our one-to-one, I guess at the high school, because we are adding additional schools and grades to our one-to-one, and I'll be at the high school leading that implementation.
Absolutely. And my name is Sarah Thomas, and I'm an 8th grade, well, I guess now I should say 6th and 8th grade English language arts teacher and technology teacher, and I'm in the DC area. So does anybody need more seconds with this code up here? Oh, your phone's not reading? Well, it's also available. We tweeted out the link. It was like bit.ly/edumatch at ISD 2015, I believe. Yeah. Oh no, everything is just gone. That's crazy. All right. All right, fantastic. So I guess we're going to go ahead and jump into the first one. So Dr. Will, if you want to lead us off with the very first question.
What are you most passionate about in education?
All right, so we could do kind of a tweet and talk. So feel free to either tweet or talk out your answer. We'll put like 9 minutes up on the clock and set a timer for 9 minutes. So anybody want to take a stab at what you're most passionate about it in education?
Value-added education.
Value added. Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It means that there's a reason why they're learning it rather than just it's in the curriculum or it's on the test. You know what I mean? It should be purposeful, value-added education.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Anyone else?
Just tweeted out how I think for myself. I can't find my tweet exactly. But I just talked about how my biggest passion is the students and how also just getting them to critically think. I think that sometimes that we don't focus as much on that, we focus on standards. I think sometimes it's not necessarily that we negate the critical thinking on purpose, but I just think sometimes in the world that we live in, that it's just a hard thing to always, promote sometimes. And that gets from the back. So,
I'm most passionate about student voice and empowering student passion. And it started with Genius Hour, but now it's just like everything that they do should be relevant and should be something that they care about. And if they don't care, then they shouldn't be doing it because it's their education, not mine.
Powerful point. Powerful point.
The old adage that these kids are walking into this future that we can't predict and all that stuff, and yet they're being held back by our past and our biases in the way that we teach. And so I would just reflect the empowerment aspect of education.
Yes.
They're watching. So there's a little
connection.
Global connection. Just happened. Like, is that you that I'm seeing on Periscope or no? Yeah.
That is so super cool. I see that we have 2 new people who joined us, and Avi, we've been talking for a while, so it's great to finally see you. Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind just saying where you're from, what you do educationally, and then after that we will go to Ricardo. Okay. Okay.
I'm Ricardo Gonzalez from San Francisco Unified School District. I'm at the district level, teacher at special assignment, integrating technology into classrooms. And I don't know, am I supposed to answer that question too?
Sure, sure.
I'm most passionate about education. The most beautiful thing in education is when you find the verb inside of the classroom, where that's what I'm most passionate about. It's finding that verb and continuing.
Absolutely. And Avi?
So I'm from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And my job is I work with 9 different districts, supporting teachers with professional development, that sort of thing. And a big thing what I do is networking teachers. This is a particular interest in me to get teachers to try to network. So,
Exactly. Great to see you. And hey, I see Joan just came in. How you doing? All right. Good, and you? All right. Great. And all right. No. If y'all wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves, where you're from, what you do, just so we all have a feel for each other. Who's here?
Okay. I'm John McCullough. I'm from North Carolina, a small district called Burton County. I'm an instructional technology facilitator. And off and on Twitter addict. So I'm just glad to be here, having a great time. Nice to meet everybody.
Fantastic. Hello.
Hi, I am Janice Riggs. I'm also from Berkeley County. I am so happy to be here, and I'm just really following Jim who's in right now.
Gotcha. It's fantastic. So, any other passions that you all want to share out? I know that you all are using the hashtag on Twitter, but anybody else passionate about anything in education that they'd like to share with the group?
Everybody's heard my story like a billion times because every time I talk, I tell them. But my passion stems from wanting to help teachers become better. I love students, But I got into education because of my mother saying she didn't want to learn anything else about a computer. And that just changed the whole course of my life because she is the world's best teacher in my eyes. She's great. And just helping teachers become better facilitators of learning and helping kids, whether they have technology or don't.
I would say my passion is really like instructional design and building like learning experiences for students rather than teaching them something. And I just think the way technology makes that experience more like collaborative and provides like unlimited resources, it's like the door that's opened up the possibility in students feeling like school is like an experience rather than like something they do.
Right, exactly.
I was born in Costa Rica and came up here when I was in first grade, and so just the education is what made me what I am. I mean, just the ability to fully flesh out, who I was supposed to be as I'm learning, and those teachers that allowed me to be who I was in the classroom. Really, I think instill that passion, not just education, but the classroom education as a lifelong process.
Absolutely. So here's a follow-up question. When you find educators who are passionate about the same thing that you are, then what can happen? What can happen?
Greatness.
Greatness. Okay.
Explosions of business.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
And a goal can really be accomplished.
Goals can be accomplished.
I feel like the connections, I was just talking about this with Beth Howe, and she was saying she's only been on Twitter for a year. I've been on Twitter for about a year and a half. And we were both just marveling at the exponential growth that we feel our careers have taken. We're still doing the same exact job that we were doing a year ago, but the connections, the people that we're meeting, the conversations we're having with people that we used to think, oh my gosh, it's so-and-so. And now I'm sitting there and she's going, that's amazing with me. And that happens now, and that didn't happen before. I think a lot of the teachers that are on Twitter and a lot of teachers you see at camps and at conferences, the people who are at every conference are the people who are a little bit weirder sometimes, or they do it a little differently than the teachers in their building. And what ends up happening is, if you don't have that connection, you're a weird little island that everybody probably likes you, but you feel like, oh, I'm not going to share this because no one else can do it, and they're just going to think I'm weird. And just my kids will love it, their parents will think I'm great, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And you realize there's so much more when you connect with the other teachers.
May I add something?
Absolutely.
You mentioned island, and it kind of really hit home because I'm one of the few people in my district that actively tweets. One of the only bloggers that I know of, and it's very lonely. And I feel like a traveling salesman or used car salesman often because I'm trying to convince people about relationships. I gotta tell you something. This is the first time I've seen Sarah in person. We have been Twitter followers. We followed each other on Twitter for about a year or so now. And it's just like, wow, and it's so rewarding because we've had some powerful dialogue. And so now today we get to talk face to face. But I'm having trouble convincing the locals about the power in a PLN and the power of
Grow it slowly. It's okay. When you can't grow a tall oak tree overnight. You just have to water it and fertilize it. And my mom used to go and she'd try and talk to everybody that she knew about her church. And I said to her, nobody wants to hear it unless they ask you. And so it's a lot of the best kind of any evangelism, whether it's about your weight loss plan or your exercise plan or your church or your professional development plan, is people going, why the heck are you so happy and excited about teaching all the time? And then you go, oh my gosh, well, my friend, my internet pal, showed me this thing, and then I'm going to send it back to her, she's going to do the same with it, and it's so much more powerful. And then you might get one or two people a year. But
this is my issue with that.
Okay.
Our children are falling behind Because as adults, we're afraid of the technology. We feel like every bit of knowledge the children get, it has to come through us, has to come out of our mouths and from our brain.
Right.
And what we have to do is unleash them, let them blog. If you don't want to blog, okay, fine, I don't care. But why keep assigning them writing projects when they can actually post it and share it, which is a 21st century.
Yeah.
Until you're the principal. You gotta lead by example.
My working theory is you got to take care of yourself and at least the rest of the kids that you have in your classroom.
It's all your responsibility.
And then hopefully it spreads.
There's one more thing. I'm an instructional technology facilitator.
Okay, so yeah,
So
you-
my
you
job
get something
is
finally,
to kind of
yeah.
usher teachers into. So unfortunately, I don't just have, when I was a teacher, which is how I found myself in this position, I did that. And it's like, now I'm like, okay, everybody, this is great, your children will love it. So what I will do if they let me is I'll go in and implement it for them, I'll model it, and then, you know, that way. But
Celebrate and showcase.
Right.
So, yeah,
See.
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
Celebrate, showcase, celebrate, showcase.
Okay, got it.
I see that.
Tweet
I'll
about
be-
used car salesman. I'm in a similar position, really trying to, I feel like telling people about Twitter and I feel like a used car salesman. And even all the top teachers are not really on it. And what we decided to do is focus on the verb, which is networking. So what we're doing right now is we're trying to assemble common needs in a Google Doc and trying to network teachers in other classrooms, other districts. And I'm thinking eventually it will come maybe more as a step C, you know, that's where Twitter is. Because I signed up on Twitter, I was like, what is this? I don't get it. It was only after I went to a conference like this and I met educators and then I got it. So I think it has to come from, it's an intrinsic motivation to be on Twitter, so it's part. So I'm pushing people there, telling people about it, modeling. Right now we're focusing on networking.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna get to use car salesman.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, Al just walked in. So Al, if you wouldn't mind just saying your name. Well, I just said your name, but your name, what you do educationally, and
Al Elliott, fifth grade teacher, Hoover, Alabama, technology enthusiast. I've hosted a couple of hangouts, Monday discussion. I'm a part of several Twitter chats, and happy to be here.
all right, we're happy to have you here. All right, so the timer went off. So, did anyone have any other thoughts that they wanted to add to this before we went to question 2?
No, I have one more thing. I'm really passionate about youth that's coming out of the Carter Foundation, the connected learning, high network type things. I'm from San Francisco, and we passed a bond measure a couple years ago, and so what they did with that bond measure was that they redesigned the library space. So they have professional audio equipment, movie making equipment, coding, and it's happening like about, I want to say about 25 different cities in the United States where this funding has come through and libraries have been redesigned. And so one of my passions is working directly with San Francisco Public Library to make sure that the customers, which are our students, are getting them and know about them and can play with these tools.
Absolutely.
I can go
Absolutely. Definitely. That was awesome.
I have a most passionate about.
Okay, go for it.
I'm really passionate, like one of the first times as a teacher, as far as technology integrated and the purpose of it, is I feel like I'm kind of ahead of the curve and able to make an example in a way. Like I know early on I always felt like I was behind some new initiative, like this is the big thing somewhere else and then we'll get it, this is the big thing somewhere else. I actually feel like I'm part of that frontier of people that kind of get it and kind of bring other people along. To me, that's exciting to be able to shape the narrative of the profession that you work on as opposed to always being shaped from outside. So that's exciting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic. All right, so did you want to take the next question? You want to moderate the next one? All right, cool.
List 3 people who push your thinking as an educator.
So I'll put 6 minutes on there. Yeah. All right. So you could either put it using the hashtag on Twitter, or we could just say right now, like just some educators who have personally inspired you. So we're just making some connections in this room. So just 3 people who have inspired you. The first 3 who come to mind. Yeah.
Walter Duncan.
Walter Duncan.
I don't know if y'all know him, heard of him, but that's the quick key guy. He kind of pushed the way I think about technology education because he's actually transitioned from the classroom and all he does is this app that he helped develop. And that's just even thinking that a colleague or someone, like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not an 18-year-old nerd, because the traditional tech, he's like a 40-year-old veteran teacher that's getting into that space. So that kind of changed my thinking about what I could do forward.
Great, great. And we just had someone join us. So if you wouldn't mind just saying your name, where you are geographically, and what you do in education.
I'm Laura, and I work in a non-suburban school district out of Chicago. And I'm an instructional technology coach, and our district is working on a new initiative where our tagline is educating without borders, learning without limits. So we're really trying to do a lot more reaching out and connecting with, other schools and kids from all over the world.
Absolutely fantastic. Happy to have you here. Okay, great. I would say that there's a lot of, everybody sitting in front of me right now, y'all inspire me. The fact that y'all are here, and the fact that we're learning about, we're learning together about global collaboration. I know that might sound kind of champ, as my kids say, corny, but it's the truth. It's very inspiring to see that we're having this discussion in this space right now. So, yeah.
What really inspires me in this area is you all heard of Vicki Davis, and and years ago she was doing a presentation about the Black Classroom Initiative, and there's some of that was about connecting classrooms and doing some very specific kinds of projects, and it's amazing, what she was able to do in connecting people around the world. So that kind of inspired me to try to do more.
Yeah. Have you all heard of any other great initiatives to connect students and teachers in classrooms?
I've been really inspired by Angela Meyer's You Matter and Choose to Matter movements. I think they're really important. I think it takes genius hour and kind of self-esteem building and turns kids into world changers and superheroes. And that's incredibly powerful. And when used best, it's connecting them and connecting their ideas.
Absolutely.
I have another product. Oh, well, you probably have heard of her, Chrissy Van Nostale, Inspired. Probably seen her posters float around Twitter a lot. She is just an amazing educator. She has gone. She come from the gifted field. She was a classroom teacher like myself. She's moved recently to Texas, and just like her story, the way she's so transparent online and kind of goes through her struggles and how she's just real about it. She just doesn't sugarcoat anything. Doesn't just show I'm doing this and that. Just like her personal struggles that she's gone through, kind of frame who she is now as an educator. And so I just like that transparency. When I read her blog, I'm just like, we all have, our struggle. And I just love to hear her story and see she's working in the school now. I think it's the Kincaid Academy. I don't know if you're all familiar with that. She's into maker spaces, and she's inspiring me to try something new, because I'm not into STEM and science, but I'm willing to try it because what she does and just how amazing she is.
What's the name again?
Chrissy Van Nostale. She's at Venspired. So VENSPI, like inspired, but Ven in front of it.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
I think you should mention his startup. I first heard about that in Austin at the Capital Factory. And just from the authenticity of the idea to it starting to catch fire, we need to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, please.
I'd love to. Can I show it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think y'all would really like it, especially you down there that likes to be on the vanguard of these things. Thank you for recommending that.
Yeah, I'm going to tweet it right now with the EduMatch. She's amazing.
So,
let's give her a shout out.
Unfreeze yourself in just a second, but
Okay.
if you want to just start talking, and then it'll.
So, I have Penpal those are common complaints about Penpal Exchange. Voice. Exchange, and if solve.com.
I'm sorry.
I've got you.
Okay, yeah.
Plug it in.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Oh, now it's deciding to come. Interesting, but we'll use your computer. It's probably going to be less headache, cumulative headache. So. Do you need audio?
Afghanistan and kids in America.
Sure. Right.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, found out because people don't want to connect with Americans really badly. So here's our website. Y'all can check it out at.
Oops. Probably just have to mirror it.
Yeah. Where is that?
If you go down to the settings, hit gear icon in between, right there, and then display, and then arrangement.
Wow,
and mirror
genius.
Do a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Cool. So here's our website, Penpal Schools. You can go on here anytime and you can see all the courses that we offer. The coolest thing about this, you talked about the lack of international pen pals. We launched 6 months ago, and this is our growth just of users around the world in 6 months, all through word of mouth. The reason why is because we make pen pal exchanges, 1, really easy, and 2, really substantive. So those are the 2 pain points we talked about, and really free, which is also nice.
That's the best one.
So I'll just show you. So you can sign up for, if you're a foreign language teacher, I'll zoom in a little bit. If you're a foreign language teacher, you can do like a language exchange where you can learn Spanish with pen pals in Latin America. You can learn Chinese with pen pals in Beijing. We've got world news to talk about poverty with pen pals in India, technology with pen pals in China. Decision 2016 is a fun one we're launching this fall to connect kids in red and blue states to talk about, healthcare and immigration and all that. I'll just show you the world news to start with. It's got different difficulty levels depending on, where did we get? Different difficulty levels depending on what you want to do for your class. And essentially it's a 6-week, this course is a 6-week course. Each week is a different topic where you learn about, the kids learn about life and food and history and art and literature and pop culture with their pen pals. And so each week how it works is they start by watching a video.
Africa is a large continent. In fact, with over 50 countries and 1 billion people, Africa is the second most populous continent in the world. Lifestyles in Africa vary from country to country, but people across the continent share many similar customs.
As of yesterday, it's free. You used to have to pay for this. Yeah.
Free for how long?
Free permanently.
Nice.
So what happened? So what happened is our network has grown so quickly of people around the world, because like you guys aren't the only ones. Like people all over the world want to get connected. That content providers are now offering to pay us to get their content distributed around the world, which means we can earn money from the content providers instead of from the teachers and students. And our main goal is to provide awesome education opportunities for people everywhere. So if we don't have to charge teachers and schools for that, then that's just awesome. So we switched over to that. Yes, I announced it in my session yesterday. So the students watch a video, they read and learn about, this is all assuming that the demo here is their pen pals in Cameroon. They read and learn about life in Africa, they learn some vocab, and then they answer questions that are designed to get them to reflect on what they've learned, but also spark a conversation with their pen pal. And meanwhile, their pen pal is learning about life in the United States. So it's your student's responsibility to share with them to learn about life in the USA. So that's one of the coolest parts about it. And we're talking about teachers that inspire us. One of our teachers in Ghana, actually, he's here. I can show him, or I can show his class. Here's his class right here. This class in Ghana, you can see they only have this one laptop that they all share, and the power comes on once a week and they get connected to the internet. And they've just had like a really difficult time while they were connected with their pen pals. They wound up having a flood, and one of the girls in the class actually drowned, and it was just like really terrible situation. But he was just like, he persevered through this and had all of his students just kind of come together, and he organized this incredible pen pal exchange despite having so little resources, and he was able to get his kids to all line up and have their responses ready to go to write to their pen pals every week. And it turned into this incredible exchange between the two classes that was really life-changing for all the students involved. So that was Mr. Sungu at the Beverly Academy in Ghana, who's kind of a personal hero of mine. But yeah, I mean, you're all welcome to join the program for free. If you know foreign language, it's got mobile apps for desktop, for Android, iOS, or you can do it on the web. If you know foreign language teachers, they can sign up for like the foreign language courses to learn. Like here's the Spanish course. So this is assuming your pen pal is in Venezuela. We've got a course to learn all about Venezuela, vocab, grammar, all these things that you practice with your pen pal. The videos are all in Spanish. And then the students practice writing in Spanish with their pen pals and then help them to learn English.
That is such a fantastic resource.
Yeah.
There's so much there. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to definitely check that out for my kids.
Yeah, penpalschools.com. You want to plug back in?
Yeah, I'll plug back in. Yeah, thank you. All right, so thank you so much for sharing that. I love free stuff.
Yeah, free is good. Free is very good.
For sure. All right. Exactly. We're teachers, so hey, we appreciate that. All right, fantastic. So the timer's gone off. I know that we have 2 new people who joined us. So if y'all wouldn't mind just saying your name, where you're from, what you do in education. So whoever wants to go first. Great. Nice. That's my hometown, Alexandria, Virginia. All right, great. So it's great that you were just talking about the Pen Pals program, because that kind of, I'm sorry. I get carried away.
Well, how do you currently make global connections with other educators?
Yeah.
Google Group, and I can't remember the name of it. Google Connected Education, something like that. They kind of a discussion with the people to get on there and say, hey, I'm a 7th grade teacher in San Diego who wants to share.
Great. Anyone?
They find like hashtags that originate in other countries. I know like Aussie Ed is a good one, Asia Ed, but just trying to become part of the different, I guess, culture set, even digital. You end up ultimately finding so many similarities, which helps. You know, it helps make the world seem small, right? Like before it's not Australia, I'm sure you worry about things other than what we're worried about. You start to realize that we're much similar fight.
Yeah. If you have a quiet Friday night and you're not looking to go out at all, Chat OC is 7 o'clock Eastern, but 10 a.m. in somewhere in Oceania. And you get people from Australia and New Zealand and Singapore and Indonesia chatting for that. And I always like to call them people from the future because I'm so far behind. But also, What is School has a big global following too. So.
Absolutely. And we just had someone come in, so if you wouldn't mind just saying your name, where you're from, and what you teach. Tammy, I just said the answer number
Hi,
one.
my name is Tammy. I'm from Florida. That's my box right now.
Yes.
I teach computer apps and game design.
Awesome. All right, great. So, other ways to make global connections?
I find just putting yourself out there. If you have something that you've done that's neat, share it. And then people start coming and talking to you and you start making the connections. So any opportunity to present webinars online, that's what I've been doing. And meeting all sorts, like this is the first time I'm meeting Sarah too.
Yep, absolutely.
Really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Absolutely. Okay. All right, so I guess we can go ahead and go on to question 4.
What has been your biggest education win regarding your own connections?
Okay. Thinking about our own connection, so you can tweet it out or share it out loud.
I will say the biggest thing is I was told before, like, I don't know, this year I haven't played the game here, going around scanning badges. And I remember last year I got really competitive with that. But one thing I really noticed with that, I was like number 20 something. And that was my first year at ISD. But I think the thing I really realized with that was, am I just getting people's name to win this game, or am I really making a true? So that stood out to me. And I feel like, honestly, I think, because this is my first time going into the role of an instruction technology coach, and I just think about the mistakes that I've seen other people make, not just as a coach, but even just working with others in the building, is that authentic relationships aren't built first. And that truly, to me, is the foundation of everything. If you don't have the relationship there, then nothing else is going to really work. So.
May I say something?
Please.
My buddy back there, she's kind of shy of that. She's the biggest extrovert I know, but she's not that. Anyway, she has been pleasantly surprised at, I'm an introvert, believe it or not, but just the networking I've been able to do. I've had more fun connecting with people at the Bloggers Cafe than I have actually attending sessions. And the meaningful one-on-one dialogue with some presenters, the guy from Remind, and so forth. And then we will carry this relationship from today, probably digitally, definitely, until the next ISTE or what have you. And those are the kind of things you don't forget. You're gonna forget some of the presentations you attend. You're gonna forget some of the material, but that face-to-face contact is, that's an edgy win for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's the connections and opportunities that they seem to be growing exponentially. Things that I'm getting to do now that I never had the opportunity to do a year ago, just because I know so many people, so many cool teachers that I know, just from like talking. Like you said, it's the Bloggers Cafe. It's been the most fun though, because I was just in a conversation with some really amazing people and thinking, how on earth would I ever have met this person before knowing these people that I met her with from Twitter? It's just crazy.
That's how I've met a lot of people that I've met on Twitter. Like, we were just sitting down yesterday. I didn't even realize Corey was right behind me. And I was like, oh, you're the lady that helped me out a couple weeks ago with an issue trying to find out about a vendor. And I said, that was really helpful. I mean, and I know for myself, I spent the past 2 hours alone today just in the Bloggers Cafe.
Yes, and you didn't feel alone at all, did you?
No.
Please.
I am certainly not an introvert. I am an introvert. But I think the difference between me and maybe some of you is that I like more intimate relationships. Twitter, I definitely go to Twitter to find resources, to look to see what other people are doing, but not necessarily to talk to them. I find people that I can actually develop a relationship with personally, not virtually. And it's So the people that I connect with, like for instance, when I first became an instructional technology facilitator, a lady was in our school presenting. I didn't know her from Adam. She said, well, if you ever need any help, let me know. I called her 2 weeks later and I said, well, you said if I needed help to call you. And we have become fast friends. And the thing about it is, we collaborate on every single thing that we do because she has become a very intimate and personal friend. So that's what I tend to do. I like Twitter to tweet about things that excite me. I'm not excited all the time, so I stay on Twitter all the time. And that's okay too. Joe did kind of get me to start blogging. I'm just not really into that. I don't know what Facebook. And it's just the differences between us. We accomplish the same goals, but in very, very different ways. And I think that's what we all have to really understand about building our personal learning networks. It doesn't have to look the same. It can be different. And it can, feel different and you can accomplish the same goal.
Difference does not equal deficiency.
Right. Oh. Tammy?
I'm gonna stand so I can see you.
Okay.
Because I want the attention. You said that you got to do so many wonderful things because of being connected. Most of those things I didn't know existed until I got connected.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've known LSD-ish for long years, but I didn't know that it had anything to do with the classroom. Until I truly got connected. Yes, I spent tons of time in the bloggers company. And yes, my feeling should look different than others.
Go ahead.
If they all look the same, it would be a personal learning network.
Wait. She took me there.
That's because you've been a great mentor. There you go. But you said you like the personal, and that for me is what the box does.
Are you
Math Neal?
Math Neal?
Math Neal.
Math Neal. Yeah. You're Math Neal.
That's a camera moment. I should have had my camera ready. Yes.
This is Magic Pants Jones.
I've been an absent on the first box.
What's your handle?
Joe Dan 367.
Right now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, this Twitter here. Tag check my name.
But that's what it is.
Joe Dan 367.
That is exactly.
Okay, so that's all I'm saying, Karen and sister. You can start, you can develop a digital relationship that can lead to a personal relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We know folks from Twitter getting married.
Yep.
Well, now we can.
Oh my goodness.
But I do have an outer Twitter circle. That's my online link. I know I can take my education questions to, and we exchange messages all day long. But then I have an inner circle, which I usually connect to via Voxer, that we know very intimately, people who pass on our families, promotions, job changes, just I'm not feeling great today. I have that inner circle, but I also have, it's kind of funny, my inner circle does, it's similar to me in some ways, but my outer circle has to be different. Because if everybody in my outer circle is just like me, then I'm not really expanding my views on what I need to know as an educator. So I appreciate people being different for me in my outer circle.
And I came to SC for the first time. I've been in educational technology for over a decade. We're pioneering it, but I came with a group, and a lot of people in our affiliate I'm seeing them, they're not moving, like they're still hanging together. And I said, well, I don't need to be with, I thought, you need to branch out, and especially at the national, international. You need to take advantage of talking with and find out, oh, are you that person? Because they don't always have that name, but I just think it's a shame to not reach out and find connections.
Absolutely.
I think often in education, like we are given or guided towards so many different resources, we forget to look at each other as resources. Like we're looking at the tools and not necessarily people on the other end. The other thing that I was gonna say is one of the negative things, I remember when I first got on Twitter, to me, it was only what that person was telling me it was. And that's kind of the thing. A lot of people use a lot of these technologies differently. Everybody on Twitter doesn't do the same thing, and that's okay. But at first, you don't really know that. So if you don't connect with how that first person introduces Twitter to you, a lot of times you're like, I don't get it. But then once you figure out, wait a minute, I don't have to do that. I can do this, or I can do this, or I can do that. I think a lot of technologies are multifaceted. They're very nuanced, right? Like everybody on Google Plus is doing a Hangout. A lot of people doing a Hangout ain't necessarily on Google Plus. They're just using that medium for those types of discussions. And understanding that nuanced nature to a lot of the technology, I think, is what you get from the more personal relationships. Because a lot of times you can have that one-on-one dialogue. You don't necessarily have in a workshop where somebody says, use Twitter, it's great. But if you have someone that you kind of say, well, this is what I don't like about Twitter, and then they can kind of go into, well, I don't use it like that either. I do this or I do that. So I think is understanding the nuance to a lot of the technology is important too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Speaking of how everyone does Twitter differently, I always have to tell people, education Twitter is almost like a whole different country compared to the rest of Twitter. You won't see Kardashians pop up in your Twitter if you're following other educators. And the only time you're gonna see lunch pop up is because like your school lunch coordinator brought an amazing spread to your PD, or hey, I'm out with Tammy and Sarah and check out this amazing lunch we're having at this,
Right.
That's way different than like, check out these tacos.
Yeah, that is so true.
Get jealous, hashtag get jealous, because I'm with hashtag magic hands on.
That's too funny. All right, cool. So let me just advance the slide. Okay, skip forward a little ahead. All right.
How can you connect? How can you encourage other educators to connect globally?
Right.
Also, like I was told my first year was you just using technology. There's a lot of things out there. Just pick one thing and keep that your main thing. And I think about that even in regards to just teaching sometimes. Just pick out one thing that you really need to focus on and just make that your main thing. Just find one educator. I think sometimes we get this idea confused with globally thinking about the with even sometimes just the people in our building. Sometimes our schools are so large that we don't get to know everybody in our building. Just find one person you can make a connection with. Sometimes that one authentic connection will take you further than what 100 people following you will.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You gotta show people that it's doable. These things seem too hard. It's like, oh, I can't edit anything correctly. I just can't do it. If you show them that, look, there's this great website that makes it easy, or and they can just take that first step, then it seems doable, it seems real. Because I try to encourage teachers to do coding, and it's kind of the same deal. It's like it's undoable, but it's not. So it's that first step.
And I believe that it's an experience that you never forget if you've ever made a connection, either, across town, another state, or in another country. Like I helped to facilitate our first ever Skype with an orphanage in Ghana in like 2009. But being part of that emotional connection that happened, and the year-long service learning that developed out of nowhere because the kids wanted it, we can't ever forget that. But if you don't experience even something like that, they won't do it. So I'm feeling like I'm trying to help facilitate that for teachers. So even if it's something simple, they'll feel it and they'll want to do it more. Like it's the difference between reading about it and doing it or living it. Like I think
as a tech coach, that's our role too, to help make that, open that door for them, and let them experience it, and then show them, oh, it was pretty easy. That wasn't so hard, you know, because we always get that, don't we? You know, teachers will say, you know, been there, you know, like, man, it's too hard, but
Yeah.
in a way, we're trying to make our job a little more efficient and more exciting. And,
I saw a great quote. I was at Penpal Schools last year, and this guy had this great graphic, and he said the pain of doing something new has to be less than the pain of enduring the less awesome of something old. And so for you to change, you have to have more pain by not changing than by changing. And I was reading Seth Godin's Push the Box, and one of the things he said is you have to keep moving forward because, especially these days, the world is not stopping for you. And so if you just try to stand your ground where you've always stood, you are way behind where you think you are because everyone's left you. And so there's, for me, that's where the pain is I don't want to be behind everybody else.
I said over there that I tweeted it, model how being connected has helped you, but be gentle, don't shout it. I find that there's a lot of teachers here that when I say Twitter, they apologize. I'm not on Twitter, it's okay. So I just try when I'm working with you, I got this on Twitter, I connected with these, you know? But if I'm shouting it, I gotta get connected. It just makes people say, oh, you're the techie guy. I can't
Yeah.
Well, it's easy for you, like, you're good at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're good at talking to people.
Yeah, that's what the.
Classroom full of people every day.
Yeah.
It's so much less of a tough crowd than a group of kids. Like, it's the most supportive group of people I've ever worked with. Might be honest.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what you were saying, oh goodness, Dave Burgess was talking about that in his book, where he was saying that a teacher said, "It's easy for you. You're creative." Yeah, and he got mad. Yeah. When,
And eventually he did end up saying, "Well, don't blame me because your class
sucks." Right. Exactly.
If you're not gonna put in all the work that I put in, that's your thing. It's up to all of us to make our kids' experiences with us good.
Right.
And we don't get to choose how they come to us. So it's important to have a group of people to lean on. And
until recently, I wasn't sharing with my school people the archives of the chats that I wrote. I was afraid to do that because of the don't want to shout it at. And when I finally got over that fear and started putting it out there, people started to respond with, "This is great stuff. Thank you for sharing." And I realized that I've assumed things that I didn't need to assume. So I have to get over the fact that I don't want it to look like I'm doing it. That I don't want people to think that I want them to look at me. But if I don't share it, who's sharing?
right. Well, so what you told me when I was kind of reluctantly not blogging much, and Tammy said, "You've got a lot of cool ideas, and if you're not sharing them, you're just being selfish." And I was like, "Well, I'm not being selfish. I'm being shy." She's like, "No, people aren't seeing it as bragging. They're seeing it as good ideas, and you're being selfish for not sharing."
Yeah, that is true.
I agree with that. They taught me that in the doctorate program I went through. They said, you're not done until you publish, because you do this research, you have your findings, if you don't share them, same thing, you're selfish, you're denying knowledge.
And we were all the good kids, otherwise we wouldn't be here. Was. But we were and not all teachers, but a lot of us were the good kids. And we know you don't brag, and the top poppy gets its head lopped off in the garden. And so you just let's be polite and be quiet, and you don't want to brag and make the other teachers feel bad. Don't brag, just share.
Yeah, exactly. We just had 3 people join us, so if y'all wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves a little bit, just name, where you are geographically and what you do educationally.
I'm from Texas, and I'm a third grade teacher.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you for spreading the word, Amanda. That is awesome. Okay. Oh, thank you, Amanda.
I'm Melissa Eddington. I am from Ohio, and I teach English as a second language.
I'm Ross Ross. I'm from New Jersey, and I am a chief school administrator.
Fantastic. All right, so the bell went off, so let's go ahead and get to. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, Charles has been here. He stepped out and came back. Yeah. All right.
To jump on that last question before you go to the next one.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Share
yeah.
your work.
Yes, please.
Lesson learned. If you don't share your work, somebody else will.
Yes.
How many people here have presented sessions and they're curators of other people's work? So share your work, because if you don't, somebody else will.
And if you aggregate enough stuff, then it's not just curating other people's work. It's standing on the shoulders of giants. But yeah, you've got to take in a lot to make it worth sharing what other people have said.
Yeah. Cool. All right, great discussions going on. All right, so let's hop to our final question of the evening.
What resources exist to help educators connect globally?
Yeah, we did just learn one. Yep.
Actually, that one we focused on students being connected through Penpal exchanges, but a big part of it is the educator network as well. So, what happens, a lot of teachers were saying we're jealous of our students and their pen pals. So now we've built ways for teachers to connect and collaborate, to share resources, to upvote resources and things. We're building courses as well for professional development for teachers. So you can learn, everyone says the education system in Scandinavia is so great. Well, we'll match you with a teacher in Sweden, and you can talk to them and understand why that is. So a big part of what we're doing goes beyond just the kids. We're connecting teachers. We're going to be connecting parents so they can learn how to help extend education opportunities once school is over. So we're trying to build a lot to help you extend your networks as well as your students' networks. Penpal Schools for you guys. Oh, and by the way, we can only make it free if we have lots of users, because that's how content developers pay us, is to provide lots of users. So if you can help us spread the word, the more people we can get, we can keep it free. So.
But I think that's an important message as well. How is this becoming a free service? How does it stay free? It's something that a lot of us, when we see these free services, wonder, and we don't know. So we get leery of a free service because we don't know the backside of how it works.
Right. Yeah, it's about if you have the reach, then content providers will pay us to get their stuff out there.
What's your Twitter handle for
at Penpal Schools? Yeah. Now we may have some premium courses on there that people have to pay for, but for me, when content providers come to me and say, "Hey, I want students to pay, I want to charge $20 a student," or you don't get it up. Well, I'd rather have it for $20 a student than not have it available at all. We'll still have lots of free content. And normally I push the content developer to say, okay, if we do $20 per student, I want to do a buy one, give one. So for every student that pays, we give it away to somebody in a low income school here in America or resource poor country around the world. I mean, most of them go for at least that. So. But there'll always be a really strong free version, I can guarantee you that.
Well, I think speaking of free, I'm free, Ross is free. We are walking resources. And if we're keeping our thoughts to ourselves about all of the fabulousness that we see and that we're learning and, what good are we? So I think we need to help promote it and help others get involved in, being visible on Twitter. It's being active and reaching out to people who may not ask for.
Absolutely. One thing I'll talk about, y'all probably see the hashtag EduMatch. So I'll talk a little bit about that just for a second. a lot of the people in here are already connected to the EduMatch project. It's just pretty much a project that started back in September of 2014. So it's been 9 months. We have a network of about 6,000 roughly. So it's really kind of, people have started to embrace it. But what we try to do is to connect educators around the world with others along their same lines of interest. So I'll just take you really quickly to our site. Hopefully the computer will cooperate, but I can't guarantee that. So let me see here. I'm gonna make a new tab. All right. So the website is edumatch.education. And when you get there, you will see that okay, that trick didn't work. But one more time. No, I'm just joking. But there is there's a Google form on there that people can fill out. Here we go. Okay. So there is a Google form down here that people can fill out to be our person of the day. So that we can make it global. Because people on the other a week. So thanks to Tammy for the idea, as well as Amanda. Okay, stepped out. And many of you have been to whoever on a topic. If this actually kind of shows.
There is one cool aspect of it as well is the automatic.
Oh yeah, the blog retweet. Hey, how y'all doing? Yeah, just putting out the blog post. Like when you sign up, if you have a link to a blog. Oh, all right, my timer's telling me I'm done talking. But if you have a blog service or a blog, if you have a blog, then it'll tweet out the content automatically just to our network. EduMatch. See, we're in the back, so he's also signed up on EduMatch. Let me see. It's here. It did break the internet. I'm better than. So that's pretty much EduMatch in a nutshell. While the computer freaks out. So Dr. Will, did you have any closing thoughts?
Just like to say, well, thank you for coming and just jump into it. I work with teachers all the time, and some are, hesitant about doing it, and sometimes they even wonder who's on the other end. And be yourself, have a good time, and understand this is a journey that you can take on your own time and get to where you want to get when you want to get there. So.
Absolutely. So thank you all so much for coming and these last 5 minutes. If you want to network and just get each other's contact info, then we'll have the convo. Okay. Okay. I gotta go to which call it. Yeah, stop. First.